Hi guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to go ahead and do us a little video tutorial. So I see some folks are gathering up. Let me just check on the left here and be sure we've got a computer going. The internet has been odd this week. We even had, we've got one of those like neighborhood video group thingies where people post stuff, and several folks have posted that they were having trouble this week with Comcast, so hopefully it'll all be good. Hey Amy, hi Pam, hi Barbara, hi Nancy, appreciate y'all joining. Hi Jerry, glad that you could make it tonight. I hope y'all are getting ready to, or in the middle of a good long weekend, and plan to have some fun tomorrow and on Monday. And remember the reason that we have this holiday, if you would, please. Say a little prayer for those who've gone ahead. Hi, Patty Joe. Hi, Mary. Appreciate you joining. All right, so we've got a lot of gluing and putting down to do today, so we'll go ahead and get started. This card is what I gave you the sneak peek of this morning, kind of vintagey Christmas. I think the plaid adds it. This is wrapped in plaid DSP. That wondermous 6x6 DSP pack. And we've got a few other little goodies we're going to talk about. You can see I have the hammered metal embossing folder. And then the main ingredient is the So Many Stars bundle with this 23 die set die with absolutely wonderful stitched stars to create all sorts of beautiful star images for your card fronts. And then I also use the itty bitty stamp set, the itty bitty Christmas stamp set for my sentiment on the front. Hey Faith, hey Daryl, hi Jean, love the card, can't wait to work on cards tomorrow. Yay! I'm glad that cards are at least part of your weekend plans. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? I'm going to set this aside. If I've done my job right, I've got all of the card cuts and all of the little pieces and parts cut out because, seriously, you can only do so much. But I may pull the die set back out to kind of give you an idea of which star dies did what on the card front, okay? So the die cuts will be in my blog tomorrow, but I didn't go through and say, okay, there was a 2-inch plaid star and a 1-inch shaded spruce. I didn't do that. You'll kind of have to get that from the video. Or you know what? You can just make stars the size that you want and lay them out until it makes you happy, because that really is what it's all about, right? All right. So we start with some crumb cake and cherry cobbler. And then this is the plaid design that I picked for this one. Done with hurricane prep for today, and I need some, hey Roz, I hope you guys, I hope he veers off in the same way that he's showing, but sadly, it appears that hurricanes are more like nuclear weapons than horseshoes. Close is bad enough, so y'all still be safe. Sue, the same to you, and Jean and Sharon. Y'all be careful this weekend. I guess it's not until maybe tomorrow evening or Monday morning, but y'all keep your heads up. I know you've done this before, and so it's hypocritical of me to tell you what to do, but be careful. All right, so this is the plaid I used. You really could actually use, and you could even use one of these blue plaids, I think, and make it be just as gorgeous. So, it's up to you, but this was the one that I chose. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with my piece of crumb cake that I embossed in the new hammered 3D metal embossing folder. And you guys will remember this is one of the new ones. So you create this, I'll just show you this right quick like a bunny. You use the embossing platform, the regular embossing platform, the blue embossing plate, this is the new plate, and then you put your cardstock in your folder and run it through like that with no additional acrylic plates, okay? This blue plate takes the place of 2 acrylic plates, all right? So there's just that. Love the plains. Hated when they were school uniform. Oh, plaids. Okay, yeah. I'll bet you did hate them in the school uniform. Yeah, we all hated what we wore at school. I even wore plaid pants to high school. I'm pretty certain I remember that. It wasn't good. I shouldn't have done it. Okay, so here we go. Now, have you guys played? Well, of course you haven't, because it hasn't come out yet, probably, unless you're a demo and have already ordered it. But I am going to use the Celestial Copper Delicata Metallic Ink Pad and the Golden Glitz Delicata. Doesn't that just sound exotic? The Delicata Metallic Ink Pad. And what I'm going to do, so what I was telling you before, Bunny, I went off to Bunny. Hubby, the science guy, says we will still get winds and rain, most likely strong. The time will be good. You have faith. Yes, I agree, you will be good. Just be careful. Try to stay dry. So what I did is I cut my panel a little bigger than I wanted. I ran it through the embossing folder, and then I cut it down to size. So this particular card front is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, okay? Which means that the mats are 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, just a little bit of trivia there for you. So what I did to start is I took the copper, the Celestial Copper ink pad, and I just kind of ran it around the edges and the corners. What I did was keep it out of the center, so I'm kind of creating a shadowed effect there. And this is very scientific. No formula whatsoever. I just kind of kept swiping until I liked how much metallic I had on there. Okay. And you can see it gets a little thicker at the edges, which is great. Exactly what I was hoping for. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just running it across. It's not like I'm holding 3.2 pounds of pressure on the outside and 1.8 on the inside. I'm just running it around. Just not that sophisticated. Okay, so I've got the copper on there, and then let it dry for just a second. Yeah, the metallic inks are going to be great. I'm pretty certain. Then I took the gold one, missed which folder. It's the Hammered Metal 3D folder, Melanie. Looks like this. It looks like hammered metal, really. If you embossed a piece of copper foil, it would look like hammered metal. All right, now I'm taking it's the Golden Glitz metallic pad, and I'm just running right back over the top of what I already did. So all that's really doing is putting a little gold sheen, not very much. I'm not getting heavy-handed with it. Just a little gold sheen on part of the embossed pieces. So I've got kind of a mix of copper and gold here, okay? And we'll let that dry for a second. How fast does it dry? Relatively quickly, I think. It's not really coming off, and I just ran it over. I mean, I'd let it have a second or two. It's a little thicker, a little bit different formula than our classics, but it's not like the craft ink. I haven't found that it's really like the craft ink that takes so long, the white craft. At least not so far for me. Okay, so I'm just going to use some liquid glue and adhere this to my cherry cobbler card front. Now, if you guys picked a different color to use for your plaids, I'd probably, like if you used this one for your plaid, I would probably I wouldn't use a cherry cobbler matte. Obviously, I would use a Night of Navy matte for that, just to kind of have it coordinate. Okay, now. Yeah, Tanya, it's hard to kind of tell how this is going to look. And to be honest, some of the examples I've seen, I haven't loved. So I think it's going to be kind of specific. It's going to be specific to what you emboss and then how you pull it into your final card. So that's just what I think. Okay, now I'm going to take, you can see the next layer is some of the new 3/8 inch shaded spruce and gold striped ribbon. And I'm going to just take 2 lengths that I'm going to measure very scientifically by saying, oh, that looks about right. That's called Telar, just so you know. Just thought you might want to know. Telar. And I'll do another one that same length. Yep, Telar. That looks about right. Military can come up with an acronym for everything, even if one is not really required. The more acronyms, the better. So I'm really just going to line it up like that, and I'm going to put the two pieces right next to each other, like so. And you can see how I'm fixing to offset them. And I'm going to do that with some chenille. Just kind of try to go as, you know, straight as you can. Again, not rocket science. And we'll put these back on. I gotta see where it went. There it is. Okay. All right, there we go. And then we'll put the other piece on right underneath it. Give it a little pull. I just want it kind of butted right up against there. All right, like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to set this aside because I want to show you a fun little thing. Not sure if you can tell by this example, but this big star is kind of 3D-ified, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So let's pull out the Simply Scored tool. And I've already cut one of the bigger stars out of the plaid, and this star kind of from point to point is about 3 inches. It's a pretty good size star across there, okay? It's one of the larger ones. And all I'm gonna do, and it may be kind of hard for you to see it, but what I'm doing is I'm putting the point here on one of the scoring lines, okay? And then I'm just kind of lining it up so that the scoring line runs straight down the middle of the star, all right? And then I'm going to arbitrarily, and I do mean arbitrarily, I'm going to do it from this direction. I'm kind of arbitrarily finding the center of my star, okay? It's not exact at all, but I'm going from there up to the point, okay? And then I'm going to turn it and do the next point like this. And it's not terribly exact, but you do kind of want to be in the center of it. It's probably kind of hard to see, and I'm sorry about that. And you're just going to do the same thing on each of the points. Okay, and one more. Uno más. Now I'm not looking, if you're asking questions, I'll check here in just a second. Okay. Gorgeous ribbon, hammer, DF gets here Wednesday as long as the storm doesn't interfere. When did beautiful idea come to you? Well, I have so many beautiful ideas, Karen. I don't know which one you are exactly referring to. Okay, you can see I've now got a score line for each of these star points, okay? All right, now I'm gonna add a little more 3D-ishness by putting a valley in this part of each point, okay? If you mean this star, I actually saw one of the examples in the catalog, and then I figured out how to make it happen because I wanted it. Okay, so now when I get this done, each point has a mountain crease and each valley has a valley crease. You know what they say, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. But in this case, this is exactly the right lowness and highness. So then I'm going to get this out of the way. Hey, Brooke. Oh, hey, Karen. I don't know. It just came to me. I actually kind of struggled with this one, so it took me a few days to make this card, which is ridiculous, I know. All right, so all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of playing with the star. And I am creasing and lightly folding the mountains that are on my star points. Okay, you don't have to get real hyperactive with them. It's not, you don't need them to be huge because you are still going to stick them down on the card, so you're going to lose some. So it's not that huge. And then I'm going to just make the valleys between the points. Like so. And then what you end up with is a 3D star. Looks like I've got hammered metal ones. I have metal stars on my barn that looks just like that. You can see how it kind of sticks up. Okay, so that's how I did that. Now we have a bunch of other stars on our card front. Aw, thank you. And I'm going to do a little adherating first before we start building the card. Now, let me tell you a few things about a few of these here stars. I'm going to show you a couple of different kinds of stars. They all came from the same die set. You can see they're different sizes, and then you get these little flourishes. And these flourishes are kind of cool because they give you 5 of these dies right here. So you can cut out 5 of the little boogers just in one swoop. All right, so I've got a bunch of these. Now, a lot of these stars come from the middle of the flourish die, which is this one right here. When you cut this flourish out, you get a bunch of stars of various sizes, so I hung on to those. And then I made this star by cutting this size star and then a smaller star out of the center of it. Just 2 dies. One, ran it through once with the large star, lined the smaller one up on right in the center, and ran it through again to get this little outline. All right, so let's go ahead and put these together a little bit. Those are star points too. Ah, okay, here we go. So first, now, if you guys have not tried the new Glimmer Paper, it is awesome. I love it. It is so much easier to cut than the old style that we had. And it's also much more glue friendly. It is much easier to adhere things to the Glimmer Paper than it ever used to be. So that is very good. But I have to have my Tweezers here there. Okay. So I've just put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of my Gold Glimmer outline star. I'm going to adhere him to my solid plaid star and set it aside to think about itself. Now I cut from the same plaid one of these detailed stars, and I'm going to use a little more liquid glue here. Just a little on the tips and in the center. And I'm going to put this on. This is a shaded spruce solid star. Now look, before I hook that down, can you see here how it has cut? Can you see the stitches around it? Isn't that cool? I love it. I love it. Sue, the new glitter paper does not. It is so glue stuck on with, I mean, it's just amazing. I love it. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I got rid of every other piece I had of the old stuff and I bought all new because it's so good. It doesn't go everywhere. And in the holiday catalog, there's red Glimmer Paper, and it is the same style. So it doesn't put glitter everywhere, and it's easier to cut as well. All right, now I've got a detailed plaid star that I'm going to adhere to a gold glimmer star. And we'll see how well that does. It's going to do well. I know because I've already done this. All right. You never would have had, I just don't think you would have had very much success with this whole process right here with the old version of the Glimmer Paper. Now you know it's going to make me look like a fool, right? That's just how how that works. All right, give it a good stick and let it set for a little bit. And then we're going to do a little bit of stacking because I like to stack. I'm a stacker. So we're going to take a glimmer and a shaded spruce and make us another stack. And I'm kind of trying to get that look like there we go, like that. Okay. And then we'll keep one aside, and then we're just going to do a few, and you can do however you like with these. But I put shaded spruce on gold, and then I put gold on shaded spruce because, you know, that's how I roll. And we're just going to make a few of those because we're going to have, this is going to be a starry card. Really, really starry card. It's going to be a really starry card. Let's see, so I've got one, I've got two, I've got three. Okay, and then I've got some singles, and then this is a leftover, an extra, and I got some of this. Okay, so let's start putting our card together, shall we? I need a little more snail right there. There, get you down there. Okay, now always do a dry fit, you guys. Are you offsetting the tiny stars? Let me show you what I'm doing. I am offsetting them so that they kind of, oh wait, that doesn't look good at all. Hang on, I gotta stand up to see what I'm giving you. Okay, can you see that, what I did? I put the points of the little star, oh there, that might help. I put the points of the little star in the valleys of the big star. Hi, Tish. All right, so that it becomes kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like an 8 or 9 star thing. Okay, 10 stars, 10 points, like that. Okay, hope that answered the question. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of just do a dry fit and see what we get here. Always dry fit, people. Dry fitting is free. And it'll help you to get things set up so that you know how you are going to want. And I want this kind of willy-nilly look if I can, okay? Because willy and nilly are kind of my favorites. Let's put this on here. All right. And I think we'll go like that. And then let's put something up here. All right, and maybe like that. No. Put it down there, and then like that. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna just dry fit him like this, and then I'm gonna make us I'm going to make us our sentiment, and we're gonna see how that fits in, and then I'm gonna have some of these little dudes in and amongst, not too many. But I'm going to put them in and amongst the stars. Okay? All right. Thank you, Melanie. All right. I'm going to take a drink because I'm thirsty. Okay? Taking a drink. Are you guys excited for the buy 3 get 1 free sale? Yay! I know I am. I think that's going to be awesome. What I love about it is that they've got the pressed petals specialty paper in there. So, and they don't say, you know, your free one has to be of less value. So you could actually get 3 $11 sets of paper and get the $14 $50 set of paper free, which is kind of rocking. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. All right, now let's make a sentiment. I have what I have here is a 3/8 inch by about 2.5 inch strip of crumb cake, and I'm going to use a sentiment from the Itty Bitty Christmas set, which is of course also in the new catalog, and I'm going to stamp it in Cherry Cobbler. Yeah, Okay, here's the thing. I tried this initially using the copper metallic ink to stamp my sentiment, and there wasn't enough contrast with it for a sentiment for me, and so I pulled it off and changed it up. So cherry cobbler became the way to do it. So let me see if I can get that on here somewhat straight. Okay, and let it set a second so that it gets all goody. Okay, there we go. And there we have our sentiment. Now, I thought it would be fun, but I don't know how fun it is, but I did it anyway. What I did is I just took my sentiment like this, and I kind of tapped it in the metallic ink. I usually edge my sentiments, and on this one I did it in my copper metallic ink. You could also do the gold if you preferred, because you got kind of a gold and copper vibe going on here. Remember, we're still dry fitting, so I can adjust how I want. I'm going to want that across there like that. And the last thing I'm going to do before I start adhering things is make my my double loop bow. All right, because that factors in. So you have 4 reverse tweezers. I absolutely love these. This is one of the very first things I ever purchased when I started back making cards, and I bought it at a Michael's, I think, or a Hobby Lobby. And once I figured out that it's opposite, I've never looked back. It was the best thing I've ever owned, and I can't even imagine not having it. Okay, so for those of you who have not done a double loop bow, I'm going to show you how to do that. So you take this linen thread, and it actually is what works the best for me. So hold the end between your thumb and your forefinger, and you're going to wrap around 4 fingers 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then take it and wrap around 2 fingers 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And almost out of linen thread. Okay. And then hold that and cut off the end. Now, here's why these are so amazing, because they're like a third hand. So then you take your 2, you can see I have 2 double loops, push the loops together like this, and turn it into a figure 8, like so. Okay, and then use that reverse tweezer as your third hand to hold it together. And then you can take your very last little bite of linen thread off of that roll. Never waste any linen thread. I waste linen thread all the time, let's be real, because I get carried away with it. And then we're just going to tie a double overhand knot around that centerpiece. Try not to get, the hardest part right here is to not get your tweezers in your knot. It does make it harder. I've had to start over when I've done that. Okay, so a nice snug overhand, double overhand knot. And then you have this kind of mess going on here. And so then you just play with it for a minute until it becomes your masterpiece thing. And you can kind of pull the loops out so that they're even on both sides of the middle, as it were. You can see this thread is very curly down here by the bottom of the spool. And what I'm going to do here in about 2 seconds is I'm going to cut off that third piece. And I'm not going to do the overhand knot piece. I'm going to cut off the tail from when I put it together, because the overhand knot's going to end up being my bow tail, which is different than a bow tie, but kind of the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and play with this just a minute. Separate the loops. Yay! Hi, Belinda. Nice of you to join. Thank you, Roz. I figured maybe it had been a minute since I had done one on camera, so it seemed like a good time to get that out the way. Cut that other little length off like that. And you can say it kind of looks like a butterfly, stings like a bee. You guys, I'm watching this show on HBO that I've been recording, and I don't know what got me started watching it, but I've been watching it and I'm now fascinated and I can't stop. It's I think it's called, it's Hard Knocks, the Oakland Raiders football training camp thing. And it's following the Oakland Raiders, and it's once a week on HBO, and I'm fascinated by it. I can't help it. All of a sudden, I'm like this Oakland Raiders fan, and I have no reason to be an Oakland Raiders fan, and I know there are people who desperately hate the Oakland Raiders. I've never cared enough to hate them or not hate them, but really kind of enjoying the show, because, you know, that's, I don't know, it's kind of new. Okay. Anyway, that was a completely off the wall. Okay, so my double loop bow that I've just created is going to go right there. And I'm going to scooch my star over a little bit, and then we'll play around. Yep, that's going to work. Okay, so I've got all the elements ready. I'm just going to take off these top pieces and then try to glue everything kind of in place. What I would do now, before I took those parts off, is I would take my camera and I would take a picture of that, and then I would have the photo sitting next to me so that I can recreate this layout that I liked so much. All right, as it is, I've kind of got my sample over here off to the side, just so that I can make sure that I keep doing what I did and know that I'm doing what I did because I liked it. I liked how it looked. All right. So we're going to do that, and I like this one to kind of stick off the edge a little bit. Not past the edge of the card base, but just over the edge of the mat into the card base. Looks a little bit cooler, I think. We'll pick this one up and put him right back in place. And then this little guy. You can see I've let his tip go over the edge as well. Okay. And then just kind of keep going until everything is hooked down where you wanted it. Like so. Okay, now for the large star. Hey, Donna. I hope you have a safe trip. Hope you had a good holiday. For this large star, I'm going to use a few Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, just in the center of the star. Yes, that means the tips are loose. Loose tips, loose tips. Hopefully loose tips won't sink my card. See what I did there? All right, now we'll go ahead and put this like so. And just kind of push it down in the center so that those dimensionals adhere. Now, yes, you're kind of squishing your beautiful, oh, see, look at that. I've got an untethered star. Untethered star, people. A star with no glue. That's a terrible thing. Okay, there we go. Now, you have kind of squished this down a little bit, but the 3D, look at that. A whole nother untethered star. Good Lord, I did that bad. I didn't do that at all well, did I? Okay. Whoop, stay there. You've still got some 3D to it, so don't fret about that. You can kind of play with it a little bit if you want to emphasize that 3D aspect, which I kind of do, so I'm giving it a little play. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna use some mini dimensional Star on the Run. There we go. Better make sure I don't have any more stars weird like that. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna take some mini dimensionals and use them on the back of my Sentimente. Here we go. Sorry for the sniffles, people. That's rude. Rude. Really rude. My allergies this year have been crazy. I don't know what the deal is. Okay. So important to put your sentiment on right side up. Just saying. All right. And then let's get a couple of glue dots. Glue dots. So glue dots. Here we go. We're going to stick them. Let's see where he's going to go right there like that. So let's stick our glue dot there. And we'll stick him on like so. Okay, now I'm going to add just a few of my little flourish people. Yep, it sure would be. You could do this with, just change up the sentiment, and it could be congratulations. It could be almost any kind of a card. It's fun. I'm just going to stick one of these in here. That may run up a little bit, so I'm going to push that down just a little bit. You don't want it to go over the edge of your card base, so I pushed it under that star a little more. We'll put another couple. Oops. All right. And let's see, I wanted one by my bow. Okay, there's one. And then a final one by the sentiment there. We're just going to tuck him in right there. Okay. All right, final touch. Some of the new copper. Hi, Karen. Glad you could join. I know it. Isn't this a great die set? I mean, 23 dies. Are you kidding? That is a lot of stars. And then I'm going to use these star designer elements in Kappa and stick a few of them around. So you got a nice gold and copper theme going on here. I'm going to put one in the middle of my bow. Oh. I actually have to put the glue part down, Mary. It just works better that way. Like that. And then we'll put one, pick it up, get it picked up, Mary, over here. And then one. Remember, always odd numbers. You're decorating with odd numbers. Put one right there. All right, and there's your card front, folks. What do you think? Yep, I kind of like it. Okay, let's do an innards real quick, because you got to have an innards. You can't have an outer without an innards. And this is super easy peasy. I'm using a sentiment from the actual matching So Many Stars set. Wow! We have trimmer failure. Hang on, people. Let me pick up my big old mess over here. Okay, well, I'll pick it up later. Jeez, sorry about that. All right, so this is the stamp set that's bundled with the dies. So Many Stars bundle. Okay. And I'm using this Hoping All Your Christmas Wishes Come True, which blends nicely with the Blessed Christmas Wishes that are on the front from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. Wasn't that a handy coinky-dinky? All right, here we go. So I'm using my Cherry Cobbler again. Using my Mark 1 eyeball to try to get it lined up as close to being straight as I can. Okay. Now, if I'd been smart, I probably would have used my Stamparatus there to get a little better image, because I would have liked to stamp that again, but I didn't, and so I'm not going to. So now I'm taking this image in the set. In my card post for tomorrow, this is called the Scattered Stars image, because it looks like scattered stars. And I'm just going to stamp that. Let me see how it looks if I stamp it off once. I just want to try something. No, I'm going to do it straight up. And I'm just going to stamp it on either side of the sentiment, like this. And then I'll take the gold and use one of the sort of smallish but detailed stars. So it's this one actually, right here. So you even get a lot of stamps. It's a huge number of stamps in this set. You get a lot of bang for your buck on this one, there's no doubt. And I'm going to use the gold and stamp next to the sentiment in gold. Okay, now I'll set that aside for just a second and repeat on the front. Of a medium, very vanilla envelope. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, this is a great bundle. Like so. All right, let me put these back on in their corrected spots. And we'll set that aside and mat this on our cherry cobbler mat. Don't y'all just love cherry cobbler and crumb cake? It is one of my very favorite color combinations. It really suits my kind of country-ish vibe. And I like kind of the contrast of the metallic with the country colors of crumb cake and cherry cobbler. So it's really kind of a very perfect stamp set combination for me. Here we go. And we're going to put it in a crumb cake card base. Like so. And you can see I made this a little bit smaller than I usually do, so I have a little bit more crumb cake showing, which I like. And then let's put our card front on the front. Yes, Laura, it's a great bundle. It is a great bundle. I would highly urge you guys to look at my special bundles. You get a lot of bang for your buck there. And those are only available for a few more weeks, couple more weeks. They're limited time, and once they go away, they won't be back. So take a look-see. All right, and then we're going to use dimensionals. Did you think anything else? No. Of course, oh, come on. And we'll pop our card front on with those. And then only one more step. Those of you who've watched before know what it is. And we'll get it done, and then we'll be doneske. Doneske, I says to you. We'll be doneske. And I am so grateful that Comcast didn't let me down. Okay. So we'll pop that on. Like so. And there we go. Now let me put my some DSP on my envelope flat. Does the star on the barn have meaning? I liked it. It looks like it should be on a barn in Texas. We got them at Tractor Supply, and they're made out of they're like metal, copper colored metal. I'm not sure that they're actually copper. I think they're steel. But they're pretty, and they're kind of three-dimensional, and I like them. Wayne's from Texas, so it's sort of like that. I was a Texas resident for my entire military career, so I sometimes I'll claim Texas. I enjoy Texas. There's things I don't like about it, but but I like Texas. Texas would be a place I could live, except for the snakes. There's too many snakes. And also, it's too hot and really too dry, except for how humid it is, which is a weird dichotomy. It is humid and yet too dry and dusty. But I like Texas. All right, and there we go. One each holiday/Christmas card for you with the So Many Stars bundle and the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set, hammered metal 3D embossing folder, and wrapped in plaid DSP. So all of these are coming on Wednesday the 4th of September, along with the buy 3 get 1 free DSP. Now all of those DSPs are in the annual catalog, so you can take a look at them. I've included the table in my blog from this morning, and again tomorrow you'll be able to see it, so you can start making your plans for buying your paper. All right, folks, I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and say a little prayer for those who have gone ahead in pursuit of our freedoms on Monday, if you would. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.